I know, I feel the same way.
Right. So, like to have the HR Personnel and Organizational Development Subcommittee get started. We're going to call to order, I think it's a little after, what is it, about 3:02. Let us take a moment first to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started with the meeting, just want to go over our compliance notification requirements. Ohio's open meeting law, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted and major public media has been notified. NOACA conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. If any member feels the need to abstain from any vote due to a conflict of interest, he or she should state their intention to abstain when the matter is introduced by the chair for presentation for the record. Subsequently, that member shall not participate in any discussion of the matter for which a conflict exists. According to Robert's rules, absence from a meeting does not require a member to abstain from voting on the minutes. If the member still wishes to abstain, he or she should state their intention for the record. For the benefit of our guests from the public and the recording of this meeting, please be sure to speak into a microphone. The microphones can be turned on and off using the button on the top of them. First, I'd like to approve the minutes of the May 13th, 2025 meeting. Is there any corrections or additions? There being none, I would ask for a second. Second by Kyle. All in favor, say aye. Oh, did I not make them? Sorry.
The non-voting member.
So is there a motion to approve the minutes? A motion by John, second by Kyle. All those in favor? All right, motion is approved. Public comments. I don't believe there's anyone that has signed up to speak today. Is that correct? So there being no one, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the Chair's and Executive Director's report. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to Grace, and we may want to have Lindy come to the microphone and talk through kind of the process that we've been going through.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the time to address you this afternoon. We are here today as an agenda item to update you on the hiring of the HR director. In many ways, we have made lots of progress, but unfortunately, we still do not have a director. So I will have Lindy give some background just so you could recall and kind of give some context to what I'm about to say. So Lindy, if you want to give some context.
Sure. I was just going to give an overview of the recruitment process. So we posted the position on March 17th. We posted it on the NOACA website, but then also with SHRM, the Society for Human Resources Management. We posted with the Ohio Municipal League, with the Ohio City and County Management Job Board, with the County Commissioners Association of Ohio, and also the Ohio Association of Regional Councils. And then when we posted on our recruitment application, which is Breezy HR, that application also shoots it out to Indeed, Glassdoor, Google Jobs, ZipRecruiter. We also put up regular social media postings on LinkedIn. Our public affairs team creates a nice graphic whenever we're hiring for positions to draw folks' attention to it that way. And then we also sent an email to the entire board, I believe, correct, Grace, with when it did go up. And then we also we announced to NOACA staff on the day it was posted. We happened to have an all-staff meeting right around that time, encouraging them to share it with their networks as well. So are there any questions?
Okay, so thank you, Lindy. Appreciate that background. We had 20 folks that were screened. So we hired Clemens Nelson to facilitate the hiring process. The representative looked through all of the 100+ resumes, narrowed it down to 20. She interviewed, the first interview, the screening process, those 20. She narrowed that down to 7 for in-person interviews. Mayor Costelli and Kyle and myself participated in those interviews along with Heidi. One of them had already dropped out before we convened, so we interviewed 6. Of those 6, we selected 3 for a leadership assessment, to take a leadership assessment. So we had those 3 take the leadership assessment. We clearly had what we believe was the highest performing candidate, brought that person back in to talk a little bit more about expectations and some other issues around the organization. And although we thought it was a really good fit and we thought the candidate was a very strong candidate, we were not able to meet her requirements for the position. And there were a number of areas that she needed additional negotiation. Some of them we probably could have met, such as salary or vacation time, but there were some that we could not meet, such as healthcare. I mean, our program is what our program is, and we could not change the healthcare program. Also, accrual versus the vacation up front. She did not like the government accrual basis. And wanted all the vacation up front, which of course we can't change our policy. The entire staff works with that. But ultimately, I think there were just too many other things that just were not going to work. So unfortunately, we could not come to agreement. And so we have now begun interviewing again. So we've got some interviews scheduled. We've got some very promising candidates. And we look forward to one of them working out, and that the next time we meet, that you will be introduced to the new HR director.
The position that's posted is not HR director though, correct?
It's technically associate director, but that's a matter of internal title. It's still a director position, so we still call it director, but yeah.
Was that any factor at all in this individual's choice not to take the position?
Not that she articulated to us.
Okay, only
I don't
because I
think.
do remember originally we had talked about hiring a lower level, and then this committee talked about a director, and then I was surprised to see it posted as associate director. And again, just wondered if that would have any influence on the caliber of person that was, applying for the role.
Yeah, originally
Decision
we had,
that could be done.
yeah, no, originally we had wanted to post a manager.
That's right.
Right, so it was the
Something
manager
totally different.
position, and then we went to a director, and in our scheme, we have the associate director, the director, and the deputy director, and there's different reasons to put them in each of the categories. Primarily, a division director has a budget and it manages an entire division. Whereas associate directors, which I have 2 other associate directors, have singularly focused jobs, and they have no budget. They're part of my executive budget. And then deputy director is similar to that, but with more experience and qualifications.
Quick question.
Go
Oops,
ahead, Amy.
sorry. And this was posted outside of Ohio or only within Ohio? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Posted nationwide.
Nationwide. Okay. That makes sense. I just as a matter of comment, if you had to go through that many negotiation points for an HR professional, that probably wasn't the right candidate.
Right.
So I understand the rationale. The other question I had is the other 2 that were in the top 3, did that just, they weren't the right fit, period, or it was almost like a one only kind of thing?
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
one only kind of thing.
Got it.
I think the good news is we've continued the process, so it's not like the process stopped while we were going
Right.
through this. And we have some honestly, very promising resumes right now. We have interviews set up for next week. Phone screens have already occurred. So, we're hopeful that things continue to move at a pretty brisk pace.
And unfortunately, with this candidate, I mean, part of the candidate also wanted a hybrid environment, which we do not have a hybrid environment other than what everybody else gets. Um, uh, Yeah, so we do think that with this candidate, we sort of spent a lot of time with her, meaning that we had a couple of interviews. They seemed to be large gaps in between based on scheduling. A lot of it was her schedule. So unfortunately, it did not work out, but we do think that we're on a fast track for the rest of them.
And we've always said that this is going to be a unique, it's a more unique position based on the organization, based on the fact that it's going to be an individual that's going to have sort of that higher level, more strategic experience. At the same time, be able to kind of do some of the more administrative functions. So it's definitely going to take a little bit of time to find all that in one individual.
So you worked with the 20 and screened them. You narrowed it to 7. You took 3 for the leadership. You had 1 recalled for the process. And so with that, you have 2 remaining on the leadership that have already taken that. How about the 7, the other 4? Is that where we are with this? Or are we back to the 20?
We're back to new batches that have come in since that time.
Yeah, and candidly, the batches that have come in, some of the backgrounds are, I would even say, better fits than the initial review that we had, so the initial batch, so we'll see where that leads. Any other questions on the position? I mean, we wanted to give everyone an update of where we are. We're going to continue to move forward. I'll tell you just my philosophy. I'm not speaking for Grace, but I don't think, especially with an HR position, I don't think the right thing to do is to rush a position and to fill it just to fill it. I think it's important to find the right fit, and it's going to work in the culture, and that brings the kind of unique skill set that we're looking for. So I think it's good that we continue through the process, and I'm very confident we will end up with somebody that's a good fit for the organization.
And so with that, all of these, you've put this out nationwide, and you're continuing to do that with emphasis? Is that still going on?
Some of those will probably need to be refreshed at this time. We didn't anticipate that we were going to be at this point, so at the direction of the panel and our executive director, we can do that if it's needed. The ones that come through the app, so like the Indeed, Glassdoor, those will remain, but it would need to get reposted at the other places if that's necessary and is easily done.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that, if you want to do that. I'm also comfortable with, right now, we're actively screening, I think, 6 to 8 candidates.
Mhm.
So we're, I think, in a pretty good spot, but there's nothing wrong with refreshing that, if Grace is comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, at this point, I think we've got 2 scheduled for the second interviews out of the new batch.
Yeah, there were 2 that
Yeah.
I saw scheduled.
Yeah, but I'm looking for the second one and I can't find her.
She's on there, because
I thought I saw 2.
I accepted that interview.
Yeah, me too.
Any other questions?
And
Jeff.
just a comment, I want to thank you guys for, really taking that and working through those interviews with the new candidates.
Thank you.
Actually, I want to,
Go ahead.
oh, yeah, no, to your point, I want to thank Kyle and Mayor Castelli for all of their work. I mean, this has been a lot of work. They've come to all the meetings, they've participated, they've been extremely helpful, providing me with some good guidance on the candidates and good advice in terms of doing the leadership assessment. That was Kyle's suggestion, so we went with that, and it's worked out quite well. We think that we'll use it in the future too.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I'll just echo the thanks too. Again, obviously, we all know this has been a long process, but needed, but thank you as board members, especially going above and beyond and supporting the team and all. But my question kind of goes back to the beginning. I know you said there were a lot of reasons the candidate that was preferred did not select, but the first you said was salary, and obviously there can be adjustments. I guess I'm just wondering, do we feel we have the right salary range at this point in time? And again, maybe we just kind of see how the next round goes, and if that becomes the issue, then we review it again. I'm just wondering. It
Yeah.
sounds like there were so many concerns.
The range we do have, again, it's a associate director position. I don't recall what the range is. Do you know what it is off the top of your head, Liz?
Well, the classification range in our compensation plan, I think, is 99,000 to about 154, so it's a very wide range. And when we post a position, we will typically post the minimum with the statement commensurate to, experience and qualifications, education and qualifications.
Yeah, one of the things that we ran into with this candidate was that the experience level was lower than the other two associate directors internally, and there would have been some internal, I was gonna say internal combustion, but that's not the right word, internal compression issues, yeah. I got, yes, combustion. Yes, exactly, yeah. I've got, yeah, internal combustion engine on my brain. But there would have been some compression issues. Also, the internal candidates have been, working at NOACA longer. So there were some of those. Again, there was some room to negotiate with her, but ultimately what she wanted was far greater than what the other, associate directors are making.
Just real quick, did you mention, did I hear that right, that you post the minimum only, or just something to think about? Sometimes it does help to kind of entice the pool. It sounds like you're on your way to a good pool, but I feel that sometimes it leads to less negotiation if you can post the min to the mid.
Yeah.
Because then at least you've got that wiggle room. Most people know if they've been around for a while that you got a little bit of wiggle room to kind of come to the table once. If you come back 2-3 times, you're probably in the wrong job classification, but that might be something to think about.
I think that's a good suggestion. I think having the mid there makes sense. Yeah. I honestly don't think that the pay is gonna be the challenge. I think we'll be fine. I think it's more just finding the right fit, and I am excited about the candidates that we have, at least from a resume standpoint. We haven't had those conversations yet, but I know Heidi's doing the screening and a couple have already been moved forward, so that's promising. Any other questions on the HR position?
I will just say that the process did produce a good candidate. So, yeah, so we had a great candidate. She would have been terrific. I think it would have been a good fit. It's just, again, at the end of the day, the requirements or her expectations didn't meet the same level of requirements that we could offer.
And our process, even with her, doesn't necessarily stop, but we're moving forward and we're gonna continue to look for a candidate. So if she changes her mind on some things, the door is always open for conversation, so. Anything else? All right, thanks, everyone. Next, there are no presentations today. Any reports? Grace, any reports or anything?
No reports.
Okay, thank you. No old business, and I don't believe there's any new business. So at this time, I would entertain, go ahead.
I'll go ahead and entertain a little bit of new business.
Okay, go ahead.
I pulled back February 14th executive committee meeting notes where they established this subcommittee. Okay, and in it, subcommittee would be charged with the following. It has 3 followings. And providing feedback, performance metrics, recommendation whether NOACA should have an in-house HR generalist, discussion with OE strategies, the path for NOACA's organizational development and health. Okay, those are 3 things. It looks like it was commissioned, but also you can kind of, in here, you can kind of see finding the person is the good thing. At some point, I would say once we do, we may, entertain, once HR really gets established, that we'll find an endpoint to the HR subcommittee.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my recommendation too. I don't know if anyone has any different thoughts on that, but our hope is that once we have that in-house person and they're established and they're working with the team, that really our job is kind of finished. Thank you, Jen. Any other new business? Good. All right, thank you. There being no other business on the agenda, can I have a motion to adjourn? So moved by Indy. Is there a second? Second by Kyle. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. How'd we do, Deb?
Very well.
Yeah.